Welcome, everybody, to the Pierce the Canvas podcast. What is going on? It is Pierce in the house with another pretty damn good episode, pretty jam-packed episode of AEW Dynamite here. I noticed just throughout the show there was like a lot of stuff going on, like segment after segment after segment, and it's just kept going. They managed to fit a lot into the show, and it was paced fairly well. I wouldn't say it was the Dynamite with the best wrestling I've ever seen, but it was still an overall good episode. They were able to push storylines. We actually got a debut. We got some really cool news as far as a mixed tag match is concerned. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and get right into it. So the special parts of the show, we have also CM Punk versus Wardlow, as well as Hikarushita versus Serena Deeb. The main event being Sammy Guevara versus Daniel Garcia for the interim TNT title on TBS, ironically. So the show opens with Adam Cole. We immediately hear from Adam Cole. He enters with his Undisputed Era buddies. And we get story time with Adam Cole, baby. Says 2021 was a great year for Undisputed Era. Says 2022 will be even better. He says he's not even been pinned or submitted up to this point, and the boys are back together, referring to the Undisputed Era, and calls the team the baddest team on God's green earth. And he finishes by saying it's a new era in AEW. So who knows, like, are they going to make the new team name New Era or something? I don't know. I've heard a few names out there. Nothing that quite stuck in my opinion, but there is definitely some speculation as to what their name will be. So out comes the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. Matt says that he kicked COVID's ass in 2 days. Will come to the ring to join Undisputed Era. Kyle says that no one needed their help in Jacksonville, because I guess the Young Bucks came to help out. I think that was the match where Kyle accidentally attacked Adam Cole. Matt says they're right. They don't need anybody helping them. It's Red Dragon. They're one of the best tag teams in wrestling. But the Young Bucks say, after all, though, this is our company, and that they're the longest reigning champions in company history. Their New Year's resolution is to get the belts back. Kyle says, well, hey, what do you know? We have the exact same resolution. And Bobby says that no team on the planet will stand between he, Kyle, and those titles, and that's even if that includes the Young Bucks. Adam says that this is what we need. We need this friendly competition. It's what makes us the best faction in AEW history. And says, look at the Best Friends. They're a joke. And so Best Friends music comes on, and so out comes Best Friends. It just started to feel a little bit like a WWE segment, with one team coming out. We want the titles. The next team coming out. We want the titles. Well, Best Friends came out. They didn't really say much. Orange Cassidy immediately went for the attack against Adam Cole. Well, before that, actually, Cole asks Orange Cassidy what he would ever have to say of any importance, and then that pissed him off and took him down. So we didn't actually hear anything from the Best Friends. Cassidy gets rid of Brandon Cutler, goes to attack Cole. Cole's able to land a low blow, and he's about to continue the attack, but Chris Statlander actually gets in the ring and confronts Adam Cole. And this prompts Britt Baker to come out. So we're actually seeing Britt Baker with Adam Cole on TV for the first time, really, I think. I don't really recall having seen it before. And so she takes out Statlander. Baker holds Cassidy up for Cole to attack, and Adam Cole lands his boom finisher. And so we have the Bucks, the Undisputed Era boys, and Britt Baker standing in the ring. The Bucks are about to do their kissing spot to Adam Cole, but Britt Baker takes the kiss instead. I guess deservingly so, since they're partners. But yeah, that was a fantastic segment right there. This is going to be bringing us the mixed tag match between Adam Cole and Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy. So looking forward to that. That'll hopefully be a pretty good match. And so next we see a video package for Wardlow, the conductor of violence as he's known as now. And it's like some very dramatic video package. There's this British narrator calling him, I think he's the one who called him the conductor of violence, says he's the maestro who orchestrates destruction with his encore of violence. And then we see recaps of his power bombs of symphony or whatever the hell. And then after that, we see a preview of Go Big Show. And it was some guy lighting himself on fire while doing a Rubik's Cube. And I noticed that the guy, like, had a good 2 inches of that flame retardant paste. And that just kind of made me realize, like, oh, that's how Cody probably got the idea to light himself on fire all those weeks ago. And then next up, our next segment is the first match here. It's CM Punk versus Wardlow, MJF in Wardlow's corner. And the match was pretty slow-paced from the beginning. Honestly, it was pretty boring. It was the typical kind of David Goliath. You know, Goliath is just taking his time with his opponent while David is not getting anything in. In fact, honestly, CM Punk hardly got any offense in this entire match. This was as little offense as we've seen CM Punk get. He gave this guy quite a lot. So like I said, the beginning was kind of slow. And this is actually, I also started to notice at this point that the arena seemed pretty empty. I can't remember where exactly the city was that this took place, but I'm sure they probably have some sort of COVID regulation in place that didn't allow them to pack the place. But there are certain times they would shoot around certain angles and you're able to see the arena is kind of empty. So CM Punk is getting in little offense. Wardlow's just throwing him around. CM Punk escapes a powerbomb attempt and lands a roundhouse kick. Tries taking him down with clothesline and lands a springboard clothesline. That's about as much offense as he got in this match. So Punk is going for his corner knee, but Wardlow is able to pick him up for a powerbomb and starts going for the symphony. So he lands 5 powerbombs over the course of, like, who knows, 2 or 3 minutes. MJF doesn't allow Wardlow to get the win, so what happens is he lands the 5 powerbombs. CM Punk is gone. He's on another planet at this point. And Wardlow's just about to put his foot on CM Punk's chest and get the win. I think even the ref counted to 2, but then MJF was like, no. So Wardlow stops pinning. I think what we're trying to be told here is that MJF doesn't want to allow Wardlow to get the win because MJF wants to be the one to beat CM Punk. So basically Wardlow did everything here and MJF just wouldn't allow him to pin CM Punk. So he tells Wardlow to stop doing the pin and tells him to do more powerbombs. So Wardlow lands 2 more. That's now 7 powerbombs. MJF clears the ringside table and demands Wardlow powerbombs Punk through the table. And Wardlow lands it. So he powerbombed this guy 8 times. The last time being through a table. So CM Punk sells to the count of 9 outside of the ring. Makes it back in. MJF demands Wardlow continues the powerbombs. CM Punk fails to get to his feet as Wardlow is trying to pick him up for the powerbombs. Punk's able to get the sneak roll-up win. So Wardlow is pissed. MJF kind of sells it like he's pissed, but we all know deep down he didn't want this guy to get the win in the first place. MJF starts getting in Wardlow's face and is like pushing him around. And I kind of thought, oh, this is it. We're finally going to get Wardlow to beat the shit out of this guy. But no, the tease continues. The 2 years that this has been going on for. Because Sean Spears intervened and Wardlow stormed off. So yeah, that was a hell of an experience being able to like watch CM Punk get his ass kicked like that. Like, you would think you'd want to protect him a little bit more than that, being that he's like the biggest star in the company. But I guess he's also kind of impervious to any real permanent damage. So CM Punk just gave this guy everything in this match. Next up was Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Hobbs, who had Ricky Starks in his corner. And the match kicks off immediately. Hobbs catches an outside dive by Martin, and he's able to land a spine buster on the outside early. Hobbs lands a vertical suplex, actually lands a few of them, and he's taking control for a while, lands a big running crossbody as well. At one point, Hobbs hammer throws Dante to the corner, and Dante, remember when Shawn Michaels would do that oversell when he'd get hammer thrown into a corner? He would, like, roll up. Well, Dante did that, except he launched himself out of the ring doing that. So he flew out of the ring, and the ref is distracted, and this allows Ricky Starks to literally just start beating up Dante on the outside. Dante lands a huge strike at one point. Hobbs tries positioning for a torture rack. Dante's able to do his comeback and lands a shotgun dropkick for a 2 count. Dante lands a tornillo. Hobbs lands some sort of tackle. Like, I kind of looked away for like a second, and I see Hobbs did like it was like a spear, I don't know, some weird tackle. Ricky Starks is trying to distract the referee, and out comes Jay Lethal, who I don't think we've seen on Dynamite since he lost in that Battle Royal. Was that on Dynamite? I'm pretty sure it was. So out he comes to confront Ricky Starks. Dante lands his springboard cutter to Hobbs for the win. And so I guess we'll be seeing Ricky Starks versus Jay Lethal pretty soon. Or maybe he also, Jay Lethal versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And next up we have Alex Marvez with the Inner Circle. And says that someone, I don't remember who exactly, but he said somebody gave them the 2021 Faction of the Year award. Jericho says that he's not surprised about it. Says that their mission statement hasn't changed, to take over the country, take over the world. Says Inner Circle will put down Terrence and Phillip. So the Terrence and Phillip references continue. Eddie Kingston comes into the frame. Eddie told Jericho to mind their own business, and he wants Garcia after they injured him. Eddie asks, like, real quick, kind of gets in, like, to Santana and Ortiz, why don't you guys have the title? And he's like, oh, it's because of this guy. Blames it on Jericho. Jericho and Eddie just start yelling at each other. Santana tells them to get their shit together and kind of walks away. The other Inner Circle members all just walk away. Jericho says that if 2.0 get involved, I guess he'll be pissed at Eddie. But this all got really confusing because it started to seem almost like Eddie was on the side of 2.0. And even during the main event, it seemed that way a little bit. But this whole storyline is just Eddie and Jericho being like, oh, I'm the one who's supposed to attack 2.0, not you. Like, that's really all this is. MJF closes the segment saying GFY. I don't know what that means. It seems like Eddie Kingston didn't know either. So out comes MJF, and he seems pretty pissed off. He says he hates to interrupt the program, even though he's the only star on it. MJF says that CM Punk is in the back in a world of pain. The crowd starts chanting, asshole. MJF says that Punk got powerbombed into oblivion, which is kind of true. Says he got a fluke victory, which is also kind of true. Next week, he'll give Punk the first L of his career. And we get the exact same things last week. You guys want the match? You want the match? Well, next week, it's CM Punk versus Shawn Spears. So we're getting CM Punk versus Shawn Spears for whatever that'll be worth next week. And so we hear again from Undisputed Era and the Young Bucks. I'm going to keep calling them that till they have a new name, by the way. And Kyle addresses the camera person as Landon. Matt corrects him and says, no, this is Brandon. I guess Brandon and Landon must look a lot alike. Adam says that Chris Stanlander can't mess with them since they have Baker now. Out comes Baker, and she lays down the challenge for a mixed tag against Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy next week. Baker calls Cutler Brandon Butler, and they all tell him to shut up at the same time. So next we hear from our AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page. Page says the last 2 months he spent 90 minutes against one of the best in the world. He's poured sweat, spilled blood for all just for the title. Says it's the ultimate prize, the most important thing in wrestling, and that it's still his. However, he says 90 minutes is not enough. Says it's a new year, the records have reset, Hangman needs a new challenger. And out comes Dan Lambert. On his own, he's not with his Men of the Year. In fact, the Men of the Year weren't even acknowledged in this segment. Basically, it's just Lambert saying that Hangman needs to drop the cowboy gimmick in respect for people like Bill Watts and Terry and Dory Funk Jr. Just going on about that, just name-dropping all these old wrestlers that Hangman should be respecting the legacy of. Says that we have the cowboy that the AEW fan base can relate to. Hangman doesn't want to hear from him. Lambert actually praises Hangman's matches with Danielson, says it's some of the best wrestling he's seen in 40 years. Lambert says that Adam should do what Cody did, or should have done what Cody did and play politics to get his shots. But then that's when he just started getting into kind of tearing apart Adam Page's gimmick, and says again not to disrespect the legacy of those before him. So Adam Page lists like a whole bunch of reasons why he's cowboy shit. Says that he asked for a challenger but instead got Lambert. Tells him, hey, why don't you get in the ring? And so obviously Lambert's kind of cowering away. And then suddenly Lance Archer's music comes on. Lance Archer, we haven't seen him in a few months since his neck injury from the dive in that one match a few months ago. I've really been wondering where this guy is. I'm really, really happy to see that he's back now. So Archer storms over to the ring, and Lambert kind of has nowhere to go because he's in between Lance Archer and Hangman Page. So Lambert backs into Hangman, and Lance is like about to attack Lambert, but then he attacks Hangman Page instead. So Murder Hawk Monster takes out Hangman Page, starts beating him down with a chair. Murder Hawk Monster sets up the chair, picks Adam up for the blackout onto the chair. And so, yeah, we're going to be getting Lance Archer versus Adam Page soon, which will be awesome. I'm really excited for that. So Tony Schiavone's with Lee Johnson, Arn, and Brock Anderson. He asks Arn about Brock and Lee as a tag team. Arn says he's proud and that the tag team's been successful so far. I've never known they're a tag team. I guess this is just a dark thing. Arn says this is Horseman country, and this prompts FTR and Tully to come out and confront them. Tully says that Brock and Lee should join FTR and Tully. FTR offers a friendly challenge to Lee and Brock for Rampage, I believe, and they accept the challenge. So we're going to get FTR versus Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson. So we see a pre-tape promo just of Mark Sterling congratulating Cargill for winning the TBS title. Jade says that she did everything she said she'd do when she came to AEW, and says the title's her that bitch show or whatever. So next we get Hikarushita versus Serena Deeb. Unfortunately, we didn't really get a whole lot. This was mostly just setting up like a storyline. So Deeb attacks Shida mid-entrance. Deeb injures Shida's knee on the stairs. And Deeb continues to go after the knee, removes the knee pad, and starts slamming her knee into the ring mat. And locks a single leg crab. And that was it. The match ended. Paul Turner called for the bell. So I don't even know, like, she just destroyed Shida. I don't know if she's going to keep feuding with Shida or if this is going to lead to a new thing. Who knows, but that's all we got here. Post-match, though, Doc Samsung is checking on Shida. Dee brings a kendo stick into the ring, starts beating on Shida's knee and leg repeatedly until the referees restrain her. And also, actually, Tay Conti, Anna Jay, and Sky Blue, I think it was Sky Blue, came out to help Shida as well. So next, another segment. Like, how many segments are on this show? It's crazy. Whether it's quick matches or quick promos, like just all throughout the show here. So we hear from the new tag champions, the Jurassic Express, who are also with Christian Cage. Christian wishes Rey Fenix the best after he had been quite brutally injured. I covered the show, actually, or at least I attempted to. I think that might have been the one that didn't record. But anyway, I didn't even notice Rey Fenix got injured. I'm not going to lie. I didn't notice at all until I heard the news after the show and then watched it back and saw exactly what happened. So yeah, seriously, all the best to the guy. I heard that it's probably not as severe as we would have assumed having seen the injury. I think it's still going to take time until we really know the severity, but Rey Fenix is awesome. I'm sure he'll be back soon. So Jungle Boy says that they'll accept any challenge, and out comes John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order. They say they're in the top 5 ranks, and the challenge has been made for Rampage. So John Silver, Alex Reynolds versus Jurassic Express, I believe, for the titles. So next, Matt Hardy is with Private Party, and he's in the ring. Matt Hardy's in the ring to cut a promo before his match against Penta coming up. And Hardy's family is actually in attendance. So we have Rebby Sky, that's her name, right? I'm pretty sure. Rebby Sky and her and Matt's children in attendance. So Matt's basically just talking crap to Penta, says that his team of 5 beat Penta's team of 5 at some point. I don't even know or remember what he's talking about. Matt addresses his family in attendance, says he's going to delete Penta and send him to the hospital with his brother. So now the match begins. Matt Hardy versus Penta El Zero Miedo with Alex Abrahantes. So the start of the match is kind of like an Orange Cassidy match. It was just shenanigans. It was pretty much just Matt Hardy going delete, and then Penta going Zero Miedo, and then back and forth and back and forth. So when the match starts, Penta's landing sling blades and a twirl-a-whirl kind of move. He kind of botched it a bit, I think, like a twirl-a-whirl backbreaker kind of attempt. Hardy's able to land a DDT for a 2 count. Penta lands his corner stop signature move as well for a 2 count. At one point, the guys are chop festing on the apron. Penta positions for his Fear Factor pile driver. Hardy's able to escape and actually is able to land his own side effect on the apron. That's for a near fall. Hardy attempts a twist of fate. Penta's able to escape, gets Hardy to the top. Hardy knocks him down and attempts a moonsault. And he actually had pretty good form. I was kind of impressed that Matt could still pull off a pretty good looking moonsault, although he didn't connect it because Penta rolled it out of the way. And this allows him to land his Fear Factor pile driver for the win, which is one of the most devastating looking finishers. I don't even know how you could protect it, honestly. You just spike your freaking opponent on their head. So after the match, Alex Abrahantes addresses Malachi Black, says that Penta has a message for him. And Penta speaks. Alex says that Penta says he's going to show that Malachi will show Penta some respect. The lights go out, and, you call him out, and he'll appear. Malachi appears, takes out Alex Abrahantes, and attacks Penta. He's attempting to remove Penta's mask. Out come the Varsity Blondes. They beat on Malachi for a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that Julia Hart got on the apron and was telling Varsity Blondes and Penta to stop attacking Malachi. I think that's what happened. It wasn't very clear, and also because it moved into a whole bunch of other stuff happening thereafter. But it looks like Julia Hart might actually be somewhat leaning toward the House of Black now. That's not the only new House of Black member to appear today, because right after Julia demands the attack to stop, the lights go out again, the lights come back on, and Brody King is in the center of the ring. Brody King is all elite. I believe he is signed to the company, so we're going to be seeing a lot of him and Malachi as a tag team, I'm sure. So Brody King appears and takes out Varsity Blondes and Penta. Malachi and Brody take out Brian Pillman Jr. with a tag team finisher sort of thing. Real cool stuff, so welcome Brody to All Elite Wrestling. I'm sure he's going to put on some great stuff. Of course, he's known for his run in Ring of Honor. And since they had released everybody, he's been off contract. And so, of course, Tony would have been crazy to not have taken a look at Brody King and tried to get him in. And so he did. It's really exciting. So we are, again, confirmed to have Layla Hirsch, Statlander, and Red Velvet in a trios match on Rampage against, I think it's like Bunny and Ford and Nyla Rose or something like that. Shivani asks about Statlander's mixed tag match. Layla says that Statlander should be less focused on her mixed tag match coming up and focus more on the trios match. Statlander tells Hirsch that she'll make her own decisions and tells her to back off. And Red Velvet's there as well, just cools him down. And another match here before the main event. I thought the main event was coming on, but we had another tag team match here, The Acclaimed versus Bear Country. And this is just building a little more of the story between Acclaimed and Sting and Darby that's going on. So Max Caster is doing his raptor in his entrance, says Bear Country has erectile dysfunction, says some other stuff, says that Darby and Sting better not get in their ring. Bear Country is able to dominate on the outset, presses Bowens right onto Caster. Max Caster is able to land a crossbody to Bear Bronson at one point. Bear Boulder is able to land a double flatliner to both the Acclaimed members. Bear Country go for a powerbomb. Bowens is able to move Caster out of the way. Caster is able to land his mic drop finish to Bronson for the win. So post-match, again, the lights go out for like the fourth time this show. Sting's music comes on. Out he comes, bat in hand, to face the Acclaimed. Allen comes for the attack out of nowhere, launching onto Caster. Sting takes out Bowens. Darby lands a corner splash to Caster. Sting's able to position and land Scorpion Death Drop. And so, have we gotten the Acclaim versus Sting and Darby yet? Not sure, but if not, that will be coming up. I don't think we got that match yet. So we see a pre-taped package from Pac, who we haven't seen for a little while, it feels like. So his eyes are blindfolded. He's talking very quietly. I probably missed some of what he said. I think he was basically saying that he feels he's been set back, but he sees everything now. Says his perspective is different and his vision's never been so clear, despite that he's blindfolded throughout this pre-tape promo. So hopefully we get to see him again soon. Shivani's with Private Party and Matt Hardy. Matt is disappointed in his loss, says that something has to change. This prompts Andrade to arrive and says to take it easy, says he needs to focus, says that Matt's a businessman and he loves money just like Andrade does. Andrade says he wants to negotiate a deal with Matt. Matt says he'd love to talk, but not on camera, so they go to the back, or wherever. And wasn't it just like a couple weeks ago that Andrade was trying to negotiate with someone else? Like, who was it? Was it Dante? I don't even remember. Just every week, Andrade's showing up to random people. Hey, let's negotiate a deal. Like, what does he even mean by negotiate a deal? Like, for what? For the rights to their name and their creative property? I don't know. He's just going around asking for to do business with people. This brings us to the main event. Daniel Garcia versus Sammy Guevara, who has Chris Jericho in his corner. This is for the interim TNT Championship. And Eddie Kingston is also ringside for the match. I guess because he wants to get an attack on 2.0 at some point. Or whatever. I don't even really know why he was there. However, who also returned is David Crockett. He's back to present the winner of the championship. So the fight begins as a real fast-paced, hard-hitting match. Real great stuff. Like, these guys are a great match for each other in the ring. Their styles complement each other in a very unique way, I noticed in this match. So at the beginning of the match, Garcia is able to land a cheap shot to Sammy. Eventually, Sammy gets the advantage and lands a twisting tope to the outside. Garcia is able to reverse Sammy's offense, though, with a backbreaker. Sammy gets to the top, and Garcia takes him down, lands a backdrop driver for a near fall. Sammy positions for a Go to Hell, GTH, I think it's called Go to Hell. Garcia escapes and locks in a sharpshooter, really cranking it in. However, Sammy's able to get to the rope in time. Gevar lands a Crossroads for a near fall at one point, and this is when Shivani tells us that the match will go as long as it takes, even if it goes past TV time, up to the 20-minute time limit. Sammy's going for his double springboard cutter. Garcia catches him into a sleeper hold and lands a Gotch-style pile driver for a near fall. And at this point, 2.0 arrive, and they jump Eddie Kingston and Jericho. Guevara goes for a Go to Hell, but 2.0 distract. Sammy pushes Garcia into Matt Lee. He's able to pick up Garcia for a GTH, lands it for the win. And so Sammy Guevara is still the interim TNT champion for the next, who knows, week until Cody comes back. I don't even know like what happens when Cody comes back. Does Cody have to win the title back? I don't know. I have no idea. It's kind of a strange thing. But it's cool that we get good matches out of it, I guess. So David Crockett presents the championship to Sammy Guevara, but 2.0 go for the post-match attack. Jericho takes them out with Floyd, the baseball bat. Kingston, this story just feels so unnatural and a bit contrived. He's just mad at Jericho that Jericho was the one to take out 2.0 and not Kingston. Kingston's like, that was my attack, man. Get out of here. Jericho's like, oh, too bad. It's like, it's just a stupid story. But whatever. I'm sure we'll get a cool match out of it. But yeah, that was the show. That was AEW Dynamite. And thank you very much for tuning in, as always, for your coverage of the show here at Pierce the Canvas Podcast. we'll be back with some periodic news as well as more coverages of AEW shows. If you haven't already, please subscribe and come back to the channel whenever I'm live. We'll be back soon enough. Thanks for watching and take care, everybody.